Dude, like seriously, never, I mean never give your cat crappy cat food. You have no idea what kind of catastrophe could go down. It could get that fat, or you'll be cleaning up diarrhea for a week.
Okay, real quick. Having an eating disorder or body dysmorphia or insecurities, it's not an excuse to be an You don't get a hall pass. Also, fat people do experience all those things too. Just feels like we needed like a little bit of a refresher on that. And so like whenever a fat person is like sharing an experience or calling you in or just existing and you feel the need to be like, but my body dysmorphia, Control, delete, reboot the whole system. Because it's a little bit of a crack in the facade that a lot of you like to put up that's like, no, I only feel that way about me. I don't feel that way about anyone else. Because if you look at a fat person and you completely write off that they could have the same depth of feeling and experiences that you do, not a good look. And couldn't be further from the truth. Okay, have a great day.
Oh man, here we go again with super morbidly oppressed speech. Apparently, being skinny bad and all good fat is all some people can talk about. They act like being fat is their whole personality, and they want us to shut up about our own feelings because they claim to suffer more. Like seriously, lady, your laziness and love for food doesn't make you better than the rest of us. Maybe it's time for you to zip it and take a good look at your own behavior, huh? Oh, what's that? Your TikTok posts aren't getting as many likes? Sorry, I'm all out of empathy. So picture this. You're standing in front of the camera, belly out, struggling to zip up your shorts, and you've got the weight of the whole generation on your face. And apparently, this is supposed to make you feel more confident? I mean, seriously, who came up with that idea? Can someone explain this madness to me? I can totally come up with like a gazillion counter arguments for every single thing this girl says, but honestly, who cares? I don't think she even buys her own BS.
There's nothing wrong with being fat. There's nothing wrong with it. It's not a bad word. And like sometimes it's really hard to exist in a fat body in society.
Maybe there's a teeny weeny issue with it.
It's not sometimes. A lot of the times it is extremely hard to exist in a fat body. And people are cruel, like legitimately mean to fat people. It feels like the last acceptable form of discrimination. We hear people make fun of fat people all the time, like it's okay, and it's not. And I ask that, like, when you hear that, please say something.
Well, check this out. When it comes to planes, I gotta fork over an extra $100 for just one piece of extra baggage. Meanwhile, there's this hefty dude lugging around an additional 200 kilos of fat, and guess what? 0 extra charges. Who's getting the short end of the stick here? Talk about oppression, buddy.
Good morning, fatties. I wanted to make this video because I think there's a little bit of confusion around the phrase, I feel fat. I want to say right now, I am not invalidating people who are legitimately diagnosed with body dysmorphia. It's serious and it's an illness, I get it. But for the people who are just saying, oh, I have body dysmorphia because you feel shit about your body, no. So this video is directed to the latter group of people. You don't feel fat. Fat is not a feeling. Fat is an adjective. It is a descriptor. But it's incredibly harmful to use the statement, I feel fat, because you are directly correlating fatness with whatever you're actually feeling. So you might actually just be feeling ugly, not fat. Fat doesn't mean ugly. You might be feeling undesirable, which again, fat does not mean undesirable. You might be feeling sluggish, which again, fat people are not inherently sluggish. So please, 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 with all my love, like, this is not coming from a place of anger. This is coming from a place of a fat person telling people how statements make them feel. This is just coming from the fat community. We don't like it when people say that they feel fat, because fat is not a feeling. And it is fat-phobic to perpetuate the idea that fat is synonymous with ugly, undesirable, sluggish, etc. So next time you feel fat, dive into what you actually feel and dissect that. Love you, bye!
If only those fancy dictionary rewriters and know-it-alls focused their energy on actually breaking a sweat and shedding those pounds, us regular folks would be living in a whole new world. I mean, come on! Why waste time enlightening us about being wrong when they could just join us in the gym?
Okay, wait, keep up with this. The thin people that hate fat people don't hate fat people because they're fat. They hate them because every time they see a fat person that is simultaneously happy, it invalidates their entire experience of being thin and being afraid of being fat.
Of course, all the skinny peeps do is looking for unhappy fatties, just to prove that being thin rocks. Bro, you're way too fixated on your weight and lacking any confidence, more than any of us. Cause when you're slim, you've got the health and mojo to be whatever you damn well please. But when you're a chubster, you exhaust your last ounce of oomph on overthinking, being green with envy over the fit folks and dealing with health issues. Quit projecting and hit the gym, my friend.
With all this discussion of the whale, I've been seeing a lot of people lacking true understanding of why fat suits are inherently harmful and fat-phobic. Let's get into it. The usage of fat suits reinforce the societally held belief that fatness is not a natural state. It reinforces this idea that fatness is something that everyone can just take off. If you worked hard enough, there's a thin person inside of every fat person. This is emphasized with the unnatural look of most fat suits. Along with that, most actors who are wearing fat suits have never actually been the size that they are representing, and therefore, in the fat suit, the way that they move, the way that they express, the way that they sit, these things look unnatural because they are for that person. A thin person wearing a fat suit is never going to look natural because that is not that person's natural state.
Hey, find me someone who's both a 600-pound pro actor and can handle the craziness of a film set like a boss. I mean, we're talking about a character who's practically bedridden in the movie. So finding someone who's practically bedridden in real life isn't really a stretch, right? But like, who needs reality checks anyway? We ain't exactly experts in that department.
I just literally cried on the phone with my partner because I had a bad dream last night that they broke up with me because finally they found out that I was fat. And I mean, if that doesn't really point out how intense internalized fat phobia is, what will? I am constantly working on battling my own internalized fat phobia because if you look at fat phobia from the 4 eyes of oppression, it exists in 4 levels. 1, the ideology that fat people are not okay and to be fat is morally wrong. 2, that institutions continue to oppress us through the medical system, education, healthcare, etc., etc. 3, the interpersonal level, how we tell each other fat jokes. We continually talk about how fat people don't deserve certain things, etc. And 4, the internalized, which is honestly such an intense one to battle because you have to work to convince yourself that the things that you were taught in school and in banks and through the prison system, etc., are not true and do not have any merit in your life. And obviously, it happens so incessantly and insidiously that, like, while I am sleeping, my internalized fat phobia is like, now's the time. So I just want to tell everybody that it's okay to be kind and to be on a journey, and it's not always going to look perfect because perfect doesn't exist, but it's about being caring to yourself, and hopefully you have a support system that can also offer you that care. And if you don't, I'm here to offer you care and remind you that your mind can be really mean, but the nightmares that you have at night really have no value on how you should feel about yourself. And to all the fat people out there, I love you. Sending you a lot of care today to hopefully work on battling that internalized fat phobia and the fat phobia that happens around you. Love you.
All right, what's the ultimate endgame, huh? Picture this. You've triumphed over your fat phobia and emerged victorious. Now what? Are you gonna hide away in your room just because society ain't on board? If you start giving zero fudges about what others think, which is totally legit, there'll be nothing left to weep about on TikTok, mate. I'm dying to find out where the heck we're heading. My whole content creation gig is totally riding on it. So spill the beans already. Are we just chilling, waiting for that massive caterpillar to transform into a butterfly? Or are we like, nah, I'm out?
Here's how you know fat phobia is just so pervasive in our society, right? You see anyone on the internet who's remotely thin eating food, the focus of people's response and engagement is never about their health, how they look. It's usually never about the food either. Like, there's just never a focus on negativity surrounding what they're eating. But then you see a fat person, it doesn't matter. They could be eating a cheeseburger, they could be eating a salad. It doesn't matter. They could be drinking water or coffee. And people are like, well, I bet there's like 600 fucking calories in your coffee. That's why you're fat. That's why you're obese. You're disgusting. You're ugly. Go lose weight. It's crazy.
So check this out. When I spot a fit dude sipping on some wine in a fancy joint, it doesn't faze me at all. But when I catch sight of a full-blown alcoholic clutching onto their precious bottle, I'm like, ew, gross! You want me to elaborate more on this? Or are we on the same page here? I could be totally off base here, but I don't think your tummy should be carrying 90% of your body weight. I'm not a doctor, though.
Fat phobia isn't real. You literally foam at the mouth when you see a fat person. You're hissing and screaming at the clouds because a fat person likes themselves.
Hey, drop a comment on when was the last time you were hissing with a mouthful of foam while checking out a chunky person. And no, I'm not talking about laughing and cringing. That's a whole other story they're oblivious to.
So you admit that society doesn't accept me as a fat person. Why are you okay with that? Why are you okay with society rejecting anyone, especially when it is not for something that they did? I will not change for you to accept me. I can ask you to work against your bias against fat people, but I can't actually make you change. At the end of the day, you're the worser for it.
Did you hear? Missy ain't budging an inch. Well, 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 my dear lady, sorry to burst your bubble, but we ain't about to change for you either. If you didn't catch it, she's supposed to be all hot and irresistible. Let's not even bother talking about how well she's doing her thing, because that's just fat-phobic and totally uncool. All right, folks, time to clear out the entire restaurant ASAP. And hey, someone be a hero and dial 911, please. Wow, can you believe how much awesome knowledge we acquired today? But hey, let's do our brain a favor and forget about it for now, shall we? Time to hit the gym and flex those biceps. Catch you there, my fitness buddy.